I hope everybody can hear me okay. Let's turn the volumes up. Let's get this party started. Hi, everybody. I have a blanket because it's kind of cold, so don't judge me. Let's clear the space. Clear the space. What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Welcome to the weekly energy check-in. Hello, my beloved souls. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Autumn, the Enlightened Daughter, also known as Magic Mama in some circles, but this is the weekly energy check-in. So we're going to get started with the prayer, definitely clear the space. We're going to talk about all this freaking crazy energy that's going on in the world. Tap in if you guys have any questions, and then we'll close it out with the prayer. So, thank you, Father, Mother, God, for being here with me in the collective at this time. Thank you for allowing me to be a channel of the most clear and concise messages, giving everyone an update about what's going on energetically, what's going on within the collective, what do we need to know, what do we need to see, how this is all playing out for everybody, and just any other messages that you may have coming through for them at this time. Thank you for allowing us to be a safe space in which we are just covered in your grace and your protection and your light, and we can just open our hearts and open our minds and our souls again to the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that is inherent to all of us. So thank you, and so it is. I'll say amen. All right, let's get into it. So sorry I'm not outside, but they decided to start doing some work outside right when I was going to get started, so we had to switch up. So thanks, guys, for being here. Let's see what's going on this week. We just had that partial lunar eclipse in Scorpio, which was very intense. That was like, I want to say like 2 days ago. And so the eclipse energy is normally like at its most potent 4 days before and 4 days after, right? So we're still kind of like right in the middle of that little semi-chaotic energy. Eclipses propel us forward, right? They propel us into our fates. And so anywhere you might have been a little bit stagnant or kind of avoidant in those energies, right? This is kind of like that push, it's like, imagine sitting on the top of the slide and you're scared to go and somebody just pushes you down, right? And you're just like, kind of screaming your heads off. Like, that's the energy that we're in right now. And so depending on whether or not, you're in for that ride or not, it can be very exciting to you or very nerve-wracking to you. This energy of Scorpio brings up taboos and karma and kind of like our shadow energy. So anywhere where you haven't really been in alignment with kind of healing your shadow or just even honoring it, right? People give shadow such a bad rap, but your light wouldn't really be important if it wasn't for the darkness, right? And so we kind of want to look at our shadow sometimes and give it a space, give it a voice, give it the opportunity to kind of express itself, but not to bind us, right? And that's a lot of what this energy is. It's the things that have held us bound and chained to our distortions, to our dysfunctions, to our low vibrational energies, to the spaces where we're not loving ourselves, right? All of those things are coming unbound and unchained at this time. And for some of you, that's a great thing, right? That like it feels really good to kind of like finally like get over that hump, or to finally walk away from those relationships that weren't serving you, or to leave that job or that area, whatever is not serving you anymore. For others of you, it's not going to feel so uncomfortable, right? Because a lot of us learned unhealthy relationship patterns, unhealthy ways to love ourselves, unhealthy ways to be in love, and that's very familiar. And so if you only know love as being kind of like abusive and low vibrational and transactional and solely based on like sex or what the person is buying you or things like that, then moving away from that energy can seem very foreign to you, right? Because that's all you know. It's like you don't know what you don't know, right? Until you kind of have another healthy example put in front of you. And so when you do get a healthy version of love or respect or honor placed around you, right, it can seem very unfamiliar, right? It's that conversation that we often have about the familiar hells and the strange heavens, right? It's like you were told something so many years ago, and that's become kind of like a cloak to you. And as opposed to realizing that you can remove the cloak at any point, it's like you feel naked without it. right? And so the scorpionic energy, and really all throughout this eclipse season, as even we head towards the next eclipse in Taurus on November 8th, this energy is here to really push you forward and to have you like, it's like a slap in the back of the head, like, no, pay attention, like, you're gonna get this, you need to understand, right? Like, this is not serving you, this is unhealthy, this is low vibrational, this person is toxic, they're narcissistic, they're abusive, this is how you're not loving yourself. You need to teach people how to love you. You need to set some really strong boundaries. You need to walk away from those relationships. You need to leave that freaking dead-end job, like, right? We have all of that energy coming up here. So all of that's playing out in the background, and it's not just for you, right? It's the collective, right? So everybody's going through this kind of shift in some way, shape, form, or fashion, right? So I know many people have been having very vivid dreams, or, you know, because we have not only the eclipse season, but we also have Mars going retrograde on the 30th. And that energy is also playing out kind of like a Mercury retrograde energy. So a lot of exes are coming back, right? A lot of those old feelings are kind of coming back to everybody. And it doesn't always feel great, right? Like, they're your ex for a reason, right? You like walked away from that job for a reason. You don't want to deal with these people anymore for a reason. But the reason these things come back and are coming forward is to see, have you changed? Have you grown? Have you actually learned? Are you gonna stand in your power? Or are you gonna stand, like, you know, within your own boundaries that you set? Or are you gonna allow people to cross the line, right? And so we keep kind of spiraling back to these things, not as like a punishment or like a slap in the face, but to see if we actually are the conduits of change that we said that we've been, right? Have you actually grown from this energy? Have you actually learned anything from this energy? Is this something that you're going to go back to once again because it's comfortable and familiar, or are you ready to just walk away, right? Are you ready to like find your joy, find your happiness, find your peace, find your abundance? What I've been seeing play out in the collective big time is that so many people have been blocking their blessings by allowing these distorted patterns and behaviors and karmic relationships to just stay in their life too long, right? It's like the Most High has put these blessings here for you, but you can't even see them because you have these things blocking you. And it's until you clear those blocks, until you literally push it out of your field, out of your awareness, out of your system, right, that you're able to see the things that were being kept from you, right? Whether that's your abundance or your prosperity or your love or your divine health, right? Being in a unhealthy relationship, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean intimate. An unhealthy relationship can be with your coworkers, your parents, your children, yourself, right? Because so many of us just did not know or don't necessarily know how to love ourselves, right? And so we externalize and we're looking for love over here, over there, but you can't get what you don't have, right? You have to kind of become this vessel of love, and then you have to show people how to love you. Like, this is how I show myself, this is how I love myself, this is how I respect myself, this is how I'm showing up in the world, and I only want people in my life that are going to be reflecting that back to me or something better, right? And so having these unhealthy relationships, right, or literally got blinders over your eyes, or keeping you from your blessings, keeping you from your abundance, keeping you from your joy, keeping you from your peace, right, and your well-being and your stability, right? And so it's like you have millions in this vault available to you, but you can't get it because you're sitting here like this and you don't even realize there's a vault there, right? And it's not until you kind of really clear this energy, push things out the way, push these people out the way, that you step in and you're like, holy snap, like, I'm a multi-millionaire and I didn't even know it, right? Or like, this dream person has been in my life this whole time, but I didn't even see it because I was caught up in, you know, the pains and the dysfunctions, or holding on to the past, right? And that's a lot of what's going on. Like, so many of us are just holding on to the past because it's better to kind of hold on to something than to have nothing. But you don't realize that when you let that go, right, really open your hands, open your heart, you think that there's nothing there, but that's because you have an opportunity to get refilled with something greater, right? Sometimes you need to just let it go, right? Open your hands. It's like trying to hold on to water. It's not going to happen, right? And you don't need to hold on to this dead weight any longer. It doesn't matter how it's being played out. whether that's a job that you're not satisfied with, whether that's a relationship that you're not satisfied with, right? You can know somebody for years and years and years and years, but that doesn't mean that they're always going to be in alignment with you, or that they have to necessarily stay in your life forever, right? And I know that can be challenging and difficult, right? We don't necessarily want to like kick people to the curb of our lives, but if every time you're having a conversation with someone, it's petty or insulting or abusive, or they got a side little comment, or you know, they're just throwing digs at you in some type of way, shape, or form, and you don't feel better after having dealt with them, you feel a little bit depleted or less than, then that's a relationship that needs to end, right? And I know we put a lot of weight on titles, but just because a person has a certain title doesn't mean that they get to stay in your life if they're not respecting your boundaries, if they're not respecting you as a divine sovereign being, right? And this starts with you respecting and honoring yourself. And so this eclipse energy is bringing all of this to the forefront, right? It's like, look around. Where are you giving your power away? Where are you letting your energy be depleted? Where are you allowing people in your life that are just crossing the boundaries, or not honoring your space, not honoring your soul, not honoring your body, not honoring, you know, your goals and dreams, right? Do you have people in your life that are going to be the batteries in your back and are pouring life into you and help support you and are going to be your biggest cheerleaders? Or do you have a whole bunch of haters surrounding you, right? People that are just not comfortable with the things that you're trying to achieve in life because they're uncomfortable with trying for a little bit more, right? They don't want to try, they don't want to do more, they don't want to achieve more because they're afraid to get disappointed, and so they're trying to push that onto you, right? And so this is going to be a time where you're seeing a lot of that going on, right? A lot of that going on. People's goals and dreams are going to come up, and it's going to be this energy of, if this is really your goal and dream, despite the obstacle and the distortions and the distractions that may come up right now to prevent you from it, because I'm telling you, if it means a lot to you and it's something you really, really want, some type of unfortunate low vibrational energy is going to try to get you off path. And so it's going to be, can you stick to your guns, right? It's like, wow, I had everything planned out, I was going to go A, B, C, D, and the universe comes in and things get shaken up, and it's like, all right, I can still get there, but I might have to do A3, 2, 4, 1, B, D, E, Z, F, 29, 17, right? Are you still going to be willing to do it and to walk this path and to step into your birthright, right? Even though the path doesn't look the way that you dictated, the way that you originally mapped it out. Is this something that you really want? And if so, how can you still make it happen, right? Is this the relationship that you're looking for? Awesome. And if not, time to walk away, right? And you're not going to stick and deal with something and keep lowering your standards and lowering your standards and lowering your bar and lowering your bar because of loneliness or boredom or comfortability. Right? And so all of this is being brought up for everyone in the collective right now. And then we have all the other subtle energies going on behind the scenes, right? Where there are being attacks on our health, right? Attacks on our finances and the economy, right? Attacks on, I know, black and brown women, right? Especially with our health, right? There's so many attacks on just kind of like distorting our health, trying to get us to put things into our bodies and into our minds that are just not serving our greatest good. Just seeing like the ad campaign on trying to get pregnant women to take all these medicines and things that just are not serving their highest and greatest good is just boggling my mind. And then so many of us that are trying to have these conversations or putting this information out, a lot of interruptions have gone. I don't know how many videos, and I'm on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook almost on a daily basis. I don't know how many times I've had to redo something because of the technology is kind of blocking it, right? There are beautiful light energies out there that are working for the highest and greatest good, and they're helping to share these messages. And then there are others who are trying to bury them, right? Kick it to the wayside. And I show up every week and I do it anyway, right? Like I do it anyway. Like whether one person hears it or nobody hears it, I did my task, right? I'm to channel, put the messages out, and keep them moving, right? So this eclipse energy bringing up all these karmic relationships and karmic patterns, and because it's in the sign of Scorpio, and I believe Venus just moved into Scorpio as well, which is going to make this energy a little bit easier to traverse. But Venus rules money and love and creativity, right? And so where in your life how's your relationship with your money looking, right? And if it's distorted or low vibrational, or you have this mentality of scarcity or lack, right? That fear is going to be heightened during this time, right? And not because you're supposed to live your life in a state of like fear and be frozen, but because it's like, no, like I need to overcome this. Like, this is an abundant universe, and I'm aware of that, and I've seen blessings play out, and if God can do it for another, then it can also happen for me, or something greater, right? Like, there's more than enough in this world, but people can be very greedy, right? People can hoard, people out of fear, and that's all it is. It's out of fear. When you live your life based out of love, and your heart is open, and you're trusting in the divine, and trusting that you're a divine spark of the divine, you're not like overthinking these things. Right? You're not like, oh my God, let me get every single case of water that I see in front of me because I don't know if I'm ever going to get water again. No, you realize that like there's water, and right now you're going to get what you need, and you're going to move on. Right? And so when it comes to our creativity, right? Are you feeling like these writer's blocks? Or because in the background, again, because there's a little bit of energies that are not so supportive, I'll say that, of you being in your highest and greatest timeline, of you living for the greatest good of all involved, right? Your creativity will be stifled or just slightly distorted, shifted, right? Maybe moved off path a little bit. It's like, oh, well, you don't need to work on that now. Or, oh, that's not really important. Or they'll be fine. Or, oh, yeah, there's always tomorrow. Or, is anyone even going to listen to this? Or little comments, little doubts, little fears that take you off path, right? Little hurdles. Little hurdles that try to keep you there. And it's so subtle. It's such a subtle change. It's such a subtle interruption that you almost doesn't feel like an interruption, right? It's so subtle that it almost doesn't even feel like a delay. It's like, oh, well, I'm tired. Okay. There's a difference between needing to rest and honoring that, and procrastinating and moving away from your goals and dreams because of comfortability, once again, right? I don't really, I got a good job, so I'm not really going to focus too much on that. But wow, wouldn't it be nice? Nah, it's not wouldn't it be nice. It's in your soul. It's a dream of yours. It's a goal of yours for a reason, right? So it's time not to let it go, actually. This is the time to move forward with it. And it's like, yeah, I have a job, but this is my heart. This is my goal. This is my dream. This is something I can't get away from, right? Like, this is something that needs to be birthed through me. We all came down here with our individual gifts, right? Talents and skills in order to give birth to something new and expansive and wonderful on this planet, and to be a part of the greater good. So when you're being distracted from that or taken off a path from that, that's a goal and a dream that's going to die away with you, right? Don't let that song go unsung. Don't let that book go unwritten. There's a reason that you're here. And you're living life through your experiences, through your eyes, through your body, through your culture, through your gender, however you chose to incarnate, right? No one else has that story because it's yours. Nobody else has the same like design and mix-up that you do because it's yours, right? You have all of your ancestral blood and DNA within you, and then you have all the knowledge and the teachings from all of your past lives, plus their past lives living within you. You get to see things and do things in the most magnificent and unique way, and then be a unique expression of the divine through your eyes, right? These are the things. So don't allow yourself to be so distracted, right? Again, there's a time when you are going to be guided to rest, and you should rest. But there's a difference between like resting and taking a step back, and then living your life in bed and in the darkness because you just kind of don't want to deal or don't want to do the work, or you're just unsure, or it's easier, right? It's just easier to go to work every day and to just clock in and to not have to overthink things. That's a lot easier than starting your own business. Absolutely. Absolutely. But then what happens when your boss decides that they want to sell the company? Or you're staying in a house and they decide that they're going to sell the house and that they don't want people living there anymore, right? Sometimes we get our lives shaken up because we're not going to be the ones to make the move, and so the moves are made for us. And so when you start seeing a lot of people losing their jobs and losing their homes and losing kind of their stable foundation, a lot of that is because things need to be kind of shaken up, right? And I'm not talking about like big weather things like we just had in Florida, right? Where that is actually not only an energy of clearing the land, but also of bringing community together, right? Because people are really showing up for one another as examples of love, not fear, but as examples and expressions of love. That is why some of those things happen, right? Sometimes we just need to be reminded of the goodness of one another, right? The goodness that's in this world, despite some of the upheaval and drama that we've been seeing around the globe, okay? So this eclipse energy is propelling you into your fate, right? Like, this is something, what's fate? Fate is something you signed up for before you got here. You know, it's kind of like that Gwyneth Paltrow movie, Sliding Doors, right? Like, at some point, she was supposed to end up in a hospital at that specific date and time, right? There was two roads. It was either the road where she caught her boyfriend cheating or the road where she didn't catch her boyfriend cheating, right? But either way, she still had to have that exact moment, right? Get hit by the freaking truck and end up in the hospital at that time. That's our fates, right? Those are the things that are predestined that we have to kind of walk through. That's where Scorpio is pushing you forward, right? And so it's unavoidable. You know what I mean? It's unavoidable. So depending on where you're at on your spiritual path, your spiritual goals will depend on how these things play out, right? She had, like I said, it was two very different energies. One where she caught her boyfriend cheating and one where she didn't. But at the end of the day, she was able to go through this energy and she took her power back and she got into oneness and ended up meeting the person that she was supposed to meet, right? Beautiful. Like fated events. That's what we're being pushed towards at this time. And then we have this Mars retrograde energy. And Mars is the planet of like power, initiation, getting things going, right? It rules the sign of Aries. I know because I'm a fire sign. And, you know, Aries, we like to get things done, right? If there's not a door or a window, we'll make one, right? Ram our heads through and we'll make a door where there was none. And so because it's retrograde and retrograde slow everything down, you're not going to necessarily feel as fiery or as motivated or as passionate as you have been recently. Don't take that as oh, this means I'm not on the right path, or things aren't working out for me, or use it as an excuse to not do the things you need to do. No, it means you slow down and kind of reevaluate. It means instead of running head first into something, that maybe we stop and look for a door or a window, right? Maybe there was one, or maybe we're just being so impatient, right? And that's why we're being thrown off, right? Like, so many of you have these goals and these dreams, and then you're like, okay, you wake up on Monday and you're like, cool, you expect to be a freaking billionaire by Saturday. And it's like, slow down. Stop being so impatient, right? When I got the download to create the Enlightened Daughter, I was living in New York at my mom's place, had no idea why I was guided to start a YouTube channel. I was like, I don't even know what the hell, how the hell, nothing. Clueless, right? And so I wasn't putting out a lot of content. You know, every once in a while, if I got inspiration, or if I was outside with a download, I might do something here or there, but it wasn't really a thing. And then throughout the couple of years, I started getting more and more kind of guidance, right? And more messages. And then I started channeling with the angels. And then my healing modalities increased, and my clear senses kind of increased and empowered. And then my psychic abilities started turning on more and more, and I started just getting more and more messages that needed to be shared with the collective. And I was like, okay. And then I got to the point where it was like, no, you're doing only spiritual work. Like, anytime you try to do something, and it really is like that. Anytime I try to do something outside of this like kind of healing, spiritual circle bubble that we're in, where I'm pouring like healing and love and encouragement into the collective, like the other things don't really seem to work out for me any longer, which I found funny. But it was like I couldn't get like a job. Like in my field in the industry, I've worked in restaurants for over 20 years, and I'm like, how can I not get a job? Like, how is that even a thing? You know, like I was just so perplexed. But it was like, this is what you need to be focusing on. And this was like years later into me starting the YouTube. And I'm like, okay, well, how do I structure it? Boom. Started getting the teachers and the gurus and the mentors coming into my life to show me how to really like make this happen, how to schedule things, like what it is I need to do to kind of make this like a platform in which I can connect with the collective, but I also don't feel like I'm just like just running my mouth for no reason, right? And so pouring this energy in and getting kind of structured, and then realizing like this is my safe space. But like I said, when I first got the download, that was years ago, right? So although I was kind of like moving into it, and then kind of was at a point where I was kind of moving quickly with it, it wasn't the right time. I was rushing it through my own impatience, but it necessarily wasn't the right time, right? I needed to slow things down. And so that's this energy with the retrogrades. We're just slowing things down a little bit, right? Not, hi, beautiful. I love you. Not pushing things, not running away from things, not falling back and thinking that there's something wrong with you just because the thing didn't work. No, sometimes it's the timing of things, right? Sometimes it's just the seed that God plants in our hearts, and then we're just supposed to sit with it. Like it's the winter of your life sometimes, right? Sometimes it's not always springtime, right? It's not always harvest time. Sometimes we just need to have the seed planted and let the Most High do what he's going to do behind the scenes, right? And so that's this energy right now. As this stuff is coming up and you're being addressed to heal it and to just kind of confront it straight on, understand that like the healing isn't going to happen in 5 seconds. It's not going to happen in 5 seconds. You don't grow up and learn something about your life and then you're in your 50s and 60s and all of a sudden you wake up one day and go, oh, you know what? I'm completely healed. It's unrealistic. You know, if you've learned something over the past 10, 20, 30, 40 years, it's going to take you a minute to get through it. It's not going to take you another 10 to 40 years to heal it, but it's going to take some time. And understand that if you realize something on a Monday, it's not going to be all fixed by Saturday. But you're not going to look at it the same way on Saturday that you did the Saturday before. That's the benefit of all of this, right? That's the benefit. I love it. All right, let's see if there's anything else I was supposed to address with you guys before I start pulling some cards. Eclipse season, Mars. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, a lot of travel delays. A lot of delays when it comes to like finances as well. So just be mindful of your banking. Be mindful of like your online accounts. Like literally just pay extra attention, right? If you're saving money or if you have like cards, lock them. Make sure there's just been a lot of hits on people. If you can change the passwords on your accounts, start doing that, especially if you use a specific password all across the board, because there's been, like I said, a lot of attacks on people, finances, health-wise, the things that are just being poured into our minds and our souls, right? Like be very mindful, right? Do your due diligence, set really healthy boundaries, right? Be proactive in your stuff, you know, like put a little money to the side so you got some savings just in case your check happens to be a little late, right? Or when you're done using your card, lock your card or set up some like credit alerts, you know, if you're feeling overwhelmed with like your debts or whatever, or like you have multiple credit cards, right? See if you can find like a way to consolidate it onto like one bridge, right? So that you're just paying the one bill. Like do those little things to help give yourself a little bit more peace of mind, right? So that you don't feel like you're struggling every single minute of the day, because that energy is being amplified. It's like, oh, if I can keep them this energy of fear where, you know, they feel like they don't have enough, then I'm always going to be in power. You know, we got people trying to play the little marionette strings, right? And it's about you cutting those strings and letting the freaking world know, like, I am no one's puppet, right? This is my universe. I create my own economy. I am a being of love. I am a being of light, and you can kiss all parts of my ass if you're going to try to do otherwise, right? And no time for it. We don't do that over here. Not in this space. Not in this space, okay? So being mindful of that. If you've been experiencing ascension symptoms, you know, I woke up this morning as I was connecting with everyone's energies, and I started getting a really sore throat. So communication during this time is really being heightened. And once again, with this Mars retrograde and this eclipse energy, we want to be mindful, right? Like I said, the Mars retrograde is similar to this Mercury retrograde. And Mercury retrograde is always travel delays and freaking communication, right? And then your ex is coming back. And that's literally the same shit that's happening with this Mars energy coming back. I think it's freaking hilarious how many of our exes are showing up and being like, hey, boo, hey, you know, like, can we try again? But communication is just being really heightened right now, right? So be mindful of how you're communicating with people. Be mindful of, reread your documents, right? If you're writing something out, like, and you know, make sure you're doing spell check. Have somebody else read the stuff. If you're going to have a conversation with someone, right? Be mindful of how you're speaking. Understand people are projecting a lot of their shit onto other people, right? And so use your discernment of, is this a projection or is this a reflection back to me, right? Because it's not always going to be the other person's fault. As much as you would love to just blame everybody else for the shit that's going on, you're responsible for how you're showing up in these conversations as well, right? So be very mindful of how you're communicating, right? Are you an over communicator? Are you an under communicator? Are you not being clear? Do you need clarity, right? Is this stuff getting under your skin? Are you getting triggered, right? Because if you're getting triggered, then these are indications of places where you need to heal. If something is bothering you, then that's an awareness, a red flag. Hey, I need to address this. Because if a stranger says something to you and it's like water for ducks back, cool. But if somebody else says it to you and you get all prickly and tight about it, well, why? Why am I so upset about this, right? Why am I so triggered by this statement, by this comment, by this conversation, right? And so because my throat chakra is acting up, I feel like a lot of people are going to be finding their voice, but you need to be mindful of the fact that there's just this aggressive kind of underlying energy going on because we are experiencing a Mars retrograde, right? So just be very mindful of how you're communicating and how you're receiving communication. Everything is not a personal attack, right? Everything, first of all, just everything isn't personal, right? Like apples and oranges sometimes, water for ducks back. Like, pick your battles, right? I tell my clients all the time, sometimes it's better to be happy than it is to be right. You know, like nobody wants to deal with a fucking know-it-all. And nobody knows everything, and that's okay. You know, and that's okay. Be mindful, like, be able to take, the criticism and kind of take the judgments and hear them. You know what I mean? It's not always about the messenger necessarily, but about the message. Like, what is the message? Am I hearing this often? Is this something I need to address? Maybe you didn't like the way someone delivered the message, but you heard the message, right? We've been seeing that play out with Kanye, right? It's like, hey, I don't like his message, but he speaks his truth, right? So just be really mindful of all of that going on right now. Let's see if there's anything else. Sore throats, upset stomachs. Stomachs are our solar plexus, right? That's our power center, our own internal sun. Again, Mars, the planet of power, creativity, motivation, passion. That's that power energy, right? And so if you've been getting like upset stomachs, bloating, diarrhea, vomiting, all that stuff, right? This is just your solar plexus really kind of working things out. Especially since we're in this eclipse season, you may want to do a little bit lighter of the foods, right? And kind of cut back on some of the processed foods to just give your body a minute to kind of like digest and really transmute all of the energies that are coming in at this time. Back pain, right? Our back is a sign of support, of how we feel supported by the universe, right? So depending on where the pain is showing up in your back is kind of like an indication of what's going on with you in your outer world, right? And so maybe you're not feeling supported by life. Maybe you're not feeling supported by your friends and family. Maybe you're just not feeling supported in the space that you're in, right? So if you're experiencing some back pains, that may be something that you wish to address, okay? Anything from the hips down is going to be root chakra stuff, right? So if you've been having issues with your knees or your hips or your feet, things like that, you want to get really grounded, right? Get centered, maybe get outside into nature if you can. Eat some grounding foods, right? Things that grow in the ground, the potatoes, the lettuces, things down there. What else? Maybe getting into a salt bath, right? That'll be really helpful and supportive during this time. Drinking water with a little bit of lemon or cucumber and mint or Himalayan pink salt will be really helpful at this time as well, okay? Just want to flush your body and give your body what it needs, right? You love your body will love on you. All right. So, thank you, angels. Thank you, guys, for being here with me in the collective at this time. What do we need to know? What do we need to see in regards to this eclipse energy? And as we're moving towards this retrograde in Mars. Oh, sorry, the Mars retrograde. Jesus Christ. What do we need to know? What do we need to see? Thank you, angels. Thank you, guys. What does the collective need to know? What do they need to see at this time? Amazing. Look at that. Boom, root chakra, right? That's that red color. So we just came out of Libra season, which was represented by the scales, but here with this beautiful root chakra, red, right? Integrity coming out. So again, during this time, right, a lot of crap is coming up to the forefront for us to see. Are you living and walking in integrity? Again, are you going to stand your ground, and when people try to cross your boundaries, are you going to hold the line? Right? And this is about integrity is what? Doing the right thing even when no one is looking, right? So how are you living your life right now? How are you bringing things into balance? And this is balancing of everything, right? This is going to be a balance of your light and your dark, right? Of your inner, your outer, of your divine masculine and your divine feminine, right? Like, you need to have everything in balance. And is everything going to be perfect? No. But we do the conscious work every day to get things there, and it starts by being grounded, right? The root chakra at the base of your spine is the first chakra in the 7 chakra system, right? So you have to be really grounded. It's like building a house. You want to have a really strong foundation before you build up on it. When we move away from this energy of integrity and balance, it's like building a house on sand, right? That's not going to serve you. Let's see what's at the bottom of the deck. Oh my God, you can't make this up. Woo! Balance coming in, right? And so this represents the 4 bodies, our mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical bodies. That is this beautiful card. Thank you, Archangel Gabriel, right? So that's what we're getting into balance right now. Our inner and outer, light and dark, right? As above, so below. As within, so without. You want to bring everything into balance. Mentally look at your life, right? What are your thoughts like, right? Are you thinking positive thoughts, or are you talking down on yourself, right? Or the words like, I am strong, I am beautiful, I am handsome, I am vibrant, I am wealthy, I'm abundant? Or is it, oh, I'm sick and I'm tired and I'm exhausted and I hate my life? Like, mind your, cancel that. I don't even like to say those words as an example, right? Because I am sovereign, I'm extraordinary, and I am a being of love. So speak life over yourself. Emotions are freaking GPS to the soul, right? And so how are you feeling about certain things, or kind of give you some guidance, again, to where you're being triggered, to what needs to be healed, and also whether or not you're on path with your own soul's mission and purpose, right? A lot of times things don't work out, or seem like they're not working out, because we're moving away from the things that bring us joy. We're moving away from our goals and dreams. That's when we get physical illness and dis-ease beginning to form within our bodies. It's because we moved off path. We're moving off of the thing that would bring us the most joy and fulfillment and our happily ever after, right? And so you want to acknowledge your emotions, right? It doesn't mean you sit there and like build a freaking house if you're feeling a little depressed. No, but it means acknowledging it and giving it the space and just honoring it, feeling into it for a moment and seeing where that moment leads you, and then moving on from there, right? If you don't know this by now, I'm a big fan of EFT, right? The emotional freedom technique. I definitely suggest you go to the tappingsolution.com and work on those meridians, right? Get those emotions out of your body, right? You want to give them a voice, whether that's talking to somebody. We can't be mindful who you talk to, again, with discernment. But, you know, I do spiritual calls. You can always go to my website, theenlighteneddaughter.com, for one of those, or journaling it out. Literally just getting it out of your body so that you're not holding on to it and it's not causing you any illnesses, right? So what did we do? We did mental, we did emotional. Your physical body, right? Getting that into balance. Like, how are you taking care of yourself physically, right? Are you staying hydrated? Are you getting rested? Are you getting rested? Are you getting rest? Are you moving around? You know, like, I know at least me, growing up in the hood, like, junk food was everywhere and healthy food wasn't. It's like I could buy a whole freaking meal for $5 that is awful for me, but if I was trying to get a salad, it would cost me like $15, right? And it was just like, we used to joke about it, but it's not funny that it's so expensive to be poor. Because it really is. Because when you start eating like crap, then your body starts feeling like crap, and then you got to go deal with the medical system and trying to take care of it, right? So what are you doing with your physical vessel now, and honoring it, and kind of just making sure that, like, it's up to date, right? You want to move your body. You want to kind of put some better things into it. I'm not a freaking dietitian. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, you shouldn't eat this and that. I'm not doing it. All I'm saying is be mindful. You know the things that you eat that make you feel better. You know the things that you drink that make you feel better. You know what doesn't. You can make excuses for it, or you can do something about it, right? And then spiritual self, right? Like, what is your spiritual practice looking like? Are you dealing with churches and temples and synagogues? Are you praying? Are you meditating? Are you doing yoga? Like, what is your connection? Have a connection with the divine. Have a connection with your higher self, so that when the world is doing its thing, you're not getting thrown off path and you don't know whose voice you're listening to, right? Dialing back on the TV and tapping more into your higher self is definitely going to help you out, right? So that you understand the difference between the voice of your soul, which is coming through your heart and out of love, and the voice of your egoic mind, which is going to be, you know, your brain just having you kind of like outthink things and keeps you kind of small to protect you, right? That's why the ego is here. The ego is here to protect us. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but you need to understand that the ego and the mind are a servant of the soul and not vice versa, right? So we don't want to give our power away. All right. Archangel Samuel, beginnings. Yes, yes. Well, considering that we just had that beautiful new moon, new things are happening, right? So we're shifting the energy of this world, right? We're really moving out of this time of just I'm trying to find a nice way to say this. We're moving on to bigger and better things. That's about as nicely as I could word it right now, right? And so this stuff is being brought up so that we can get, again, we want to clean the house. We want to clean the house, right? It's like, again, if you have a freaking living room set and you're like, in the house, you already have a living room set, you decide to buy a new one, right? You're going to come home and get rid of the old so that you have space for the new, right? And so that's all that this stuff is coming up for. Not punishment, not judgment, not criticism, but just so you have an awareness so you can do something about it. It's like, let me get rid of these clothes. I don't wear them anymore because I'm about to go shopping. That's all that is, right? That's all this is. We got some new beginnings coming in. Beautiful. Inspiration. Fantastic. So again, this Scorpionic energy, because Venus is in Scorpio, is dealing with creativity, right? Love and finances, right? And so for many of you, as you traverse through these energies, you're going to feel a little bit more inspired. You're going to feel a little bit more creative. These downloads are coming to you, but move with them slowly, right? Because it's a retrograde energy. Move with it slowly. Like, you're getting the downloads. You might be inspired to start drawing or start writing, singing, you know, whatever it is. But don't freak out if you can't finish the project or it's not completed. Again, it's like you get the inspiration on Monday. You want to freaking build the pyramids of Giza by Saturday. No, right? Right now it's like more blueprint time, right? Right now it's kind of like, let me get my freaking resources together, right? Right now it might be like, oh, maybe I'll take a class and studying that because that's something I'd actually want to do, right? But still feeling the inspiration and still moving with it. It's beautiful. Archangel Gabriel again. And Archangel Gabriel is the archangel that takes care of our 5th chakra, the throat chakra. So once again with the sore throat, there's a reason all this is coming up. Ooh, Archangel Metatron coming in with some divine wisdom. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? If you've been having these really intense dreams or you've been guided to some of the ancient teachings, right? There's a reason for this, right? First of all, there's all types of wisdom and symbolism in our dreams. But if you've been connecting, right, with ancient Egypt, right? Maybe Isis or Osiris or Thoth, right? Because I know that I've been guided to do more research on like the emerald tablets, right? This ancient wisdom that we have available to us isn't like just stored away somewhere in a vault. Like, you've come here with all these different information from your past lives, as have your ancestors. So we go into the stillness, we go into the silence, and then we connect with that energy so that we can reactivate it. It's just a remembrance going on right now. This isn't new to you. Oh, and Archangel Raphael, the beautiful angel, right? God heals, coming through with the earth force. So this is Gaia supporting us as we're healing. This is again reminding you to stay really, really grounded, right? And look at just the energies that are just shifting, right? Because although the earth is, there's a healing around it, it looks really dark. So I just feel like things are being shifted and activated and kind of blown away to make sure that that light can get to us, right? Because it's, look, the earth looks really, really dark here, but there's this beautiful light coming in, right? And that light is bringing healing to the whole earth. So like I said, everybody's going through it. Everybody's going through it. It's not just you. It's not just me. We're all kind of getting rocked simultaneously over here. Just hold space and have compassion for one another, right? Thank you, angels. Thank you, guys, for these beautiful messages. What does the collective need to know? What do they need to see? Wow, that was fast. For this beautiful week. What do we need to know? What do we need to see? That was so fast. It's so funny. I love when they pop out on me. Look at this, guys. Cultivating prosperity, bottom of the deck, right? The abundance of the universe is pouring into my life. Yes. Yes. But you won't know that if you got the blinders on and you're blocked, right? You won't know that. So use this energy to help clear away the bullshit and the drama and the trauma so that you can realize, oh my God, I got abundance pouring into my life, right? And maybe, yeah, maybe it's going to take a little work, right? Maybe you got to actually like get that hoe out and clear the field. But as you step forward and as you move along the way, guess what? People start showing up to help you as well. You have a whole bunch of support, not only from people on this earth, but from your ancestors and your guides, right? It's like you're outside freaking digging a ditch, and next thing you know, your neighbor comes outside with like a glass of water for you, and somebody else comes outside and they got a better tool, and somebody else comes outside and they know a different way. You'd be surprised how many people are here to support and love on you as you step onto your path. But if you're allowing yourself to be distracted, you'll never know that, right? You're blocking your own blessings by allowing some of these people and situations into your life, all right? And I hate to say that, but it's true. Hearing messages from Spirit. Once again, our angels and our ancestors and our guides are coming in, right? I am a clear channel for messages from Spirit. That is why we stay grounded. That is why you want to start tuning out the voices of everybody else around you and just start tuning into your own. Like, you need to hear your own thoughts, right? Is it your thoughts that are telling you that you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, or is it the teacher that you had one day that said, oh, you'll never be anything, or the parent that told you, like, well, you can't do that because who's going to want to listen to you anyway, or is it your freaking spouse, right? Because some of us have freaking husbands and wives or boyfriends or girlfriends that are not supportive of our goals and dreams because, one, they don't believe it for themselves, and two, they wouldn't want you to do something that might elevate you because then maybe you'll walk away. Maybe it's time for you to walk away. Letting go. Oh my God. Thank you, angels and guides. You literally can't make this shit up. It's time to let go of those energies that are not serving you any longer. I surrender joyously to the ebbing and flowing of life. Like I said, it's like trying to hold on to water. It defeats no purpose, right? You holding on so tightly to some things that you're not able to get anything new in. No, open your hands. Let go of the shit that's not serving you so you can get the new, so you can get the blessing, so that you can receive the divine abundance that's here for you. Okay? Receiving from angels. Y'all are showing off today. I love it. Thank you, angels. Shimmering wings of angels embrace me with love. Yes, they do. You have the archangels. You have your guardian angels. You have the whole angelic realm surrounding you at all times. Literally. If some of you could, like, see it, you'd realize how crowded it is in your space right now. You'd be like, yo, back up. That's how many angels are surrounding you at every given moment. Call out to them. Communicate with them. Ask them for help, for guidance, right? I ask my angels for everything. If I lose something in the house, instead of me, I might look for it for a minute, and then I realize, I'm like, why are you stressing? Angels and guides, can you please guide me to where this is, or show me where it's at, or, and then, or help me. My computer wasn't working right the other day. I was ready to I thought I was going to cry. Like, I was so upset, and I was just like, you know what? Angels and guides, can you guys just help me fix this computer? Because I don't even know how to do it. And I literally was guided to do one thing, and it worked within like 5 minutes. And I was like, why do I stress? Why do I stress? Sorry, I just saw a light go by. They're showing off today. All right, standing firm. I am noble, brave, and strong. Yes, you are. You're the divine masculine and divine feminine. You are a being of pure divine light. You're a unique expression of the Most High God. Noble, brave, strong, capable, deserving, worthy, loved, valuable, needed. I could go on. And look, making a difference. My inner light shines far and wide. Yes, it does. But you got to let it. Let your light shine, right? Don't let anything hold you back. I love this card because it's, the starfish with hands, but there's a story of a man that was walking along the beach, right? And there was a whole bunch of starfish lying on the beach. And he would walk and he would go to one and he would gently take it and put it back into the water. And so somebody on the beach, some, low vibrational human was like, oh, well, you can't save all of them and, it won't make a difference. And he's like, I can't save all of them, but I just made a difference to one, right? And so it's that energy. Like, I can't be everything to everybody, but I can do something for the one, and that makes all the difference in the world. And that's what we do when we show up, right? When we follow our goals and our dreams and we open our hearts, right? It's like, I can't help everybody. I literally can't help everybody. But if I help just one person, if even just one person hears the message, if I've even helped change one person's life, then I did all that I was meant to do, right? And then anything on top of that is like the cherry on top of the cake, right? And I'm here for it. All right, I'm going to pull a crystal and then a chakra card, and then I'm going to let you guys go. So thank you, angels. Thank you, guys, for being here with me once again. Thank you, everybody that's joining me on the live or even on the replay on YouTube. I appreciate y'all every week showing up. It's amazing. All right. Envision the future. Precious opal. Beautiful. So this may be a crystal that you want to work with in the next couple of weeks to just help support you through this eclipse season. Bottom of the deck, smoky quartz. Ooh, fall apart. Fall apart, right? Sometimes things come apart to help us to bring things back together in a better way, right? That's beautiful. And look, they're resting, right? So if you're being guided to rest, do so. Not a bad thing, right? There's a difference between resting and then just hiding out in depression now. All right? Be mindful of it. Alright, let's get a chakra card for you guys. So thank you, angels. Thank you, guys, for these messages. Oops, beautiful. And the 6th chakra. Oh, both. That's at the bottom of the deck. I love that. 3rd eye. Intuitive perception. I know that what my intuitive senses tell me are true. We can only get that when we're connected, right? Again, the mind is a servant of the soul, right? So you really want to trust in your higher self. Like your gut reaction, right? Go with your first feeling. Like that's normally your soul's guidance. It's our mind that overthinks things and starts questioning them. But if you're being guided right now to do something or to follow a certain path, even if it doesn't logically make sense, go with it, right? And let the answers and let the pieces fall where they may along the way. You're never going to know every single step. You're never going to know that, right? You don't need to know that. What you need to do is start following your intuition. And your intuition might be like, hey, I need to go to Starbucks, and I don't even drink coffee, right? But if you're being guided there, there's a reason for it. You don't know who you're going to meet, who you're going to see, the conversations you might overhear, the things that you might be activated within you, or maybe it's just that your light is needed in that place, right, for that moment. You never know. I open myself to the truth that is within and around me, and I know that it is there for me to receive. Beautiful. I practice developing my intuition, and I know that it is a major aspect of who I am. Go into the silence and really start trusting yourself, right? Keep a journal if you need to. It'll help you. And in the stillness and silence of meditation and contemplation, I will experience and know the truth. In the silence and stillness, right? Again, get a spiritual practice going on. And then bottom of the deck with the imagination. I use my imagination as I create and pursue my dreams and wishes. I ask myself, what do I want? What do I want? Not what does my mom want? Not what does my boyfriend want? Not what do my kids want? Not what does my teacher want? Not what does my employer want? What do I want? What does my happily ever after look like, right? What does that mean for my health and for my living space and for my traveling and for my family and for my friendships and for my intimate relationships, right? What do I want? What does my happily ever after look like? Okay? My thoughts create my reality at the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual levels. I use this power to create harmonious relationships between all these levels. Again, with that mental conversation we had before, right? I imagine a life I would like to have, and I encourage my thoughts to be truthful, wise, and discerning. In the quietness of meditation, I see and hear the truth. In the quietness of meditation. All right? I love it. So, there we go, my beloveds. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to close out with a prayer. So thank you again, Father, Mother, God, for being here with me in the collective at this time. Thank you for the beautiful divine messages that we just received and all of the guidance, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that you have given to us. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for allowing us to just open our hearts and our minds to your divinity and reminding of us of our sovereignty, reminding us of our sovereignty, of our light, of our worthiness. Thank you for allowing us to be unique expressions of you here on the face of the earth, and thank you for allowing us to be the hands, the eyes, the ears, and the mouth of God. May everyone who hears these messages be covered in your grace. May their days be filled with blessings and miracles, and may they know love just a little deeper and a little bit more because it comes from you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and so it is. Ashe and amen. I love you guys. I'll see you next week. Follow me on YouTube. Later.